Okay, today I got a 92 Geo Metro LSI convertible, and I got a little issue with the convertible top parts. Specifically, on this side, this is supposed to pivot out of the way. You put the top down, put this back. Well, mine became a two-piece model, and whatever used to hold that on broke off, and you can't go down the road like that because this thing's going to get loose, and then the back piece is going to go flying off, and where are you going to find one of those for a 92? So let's see what it's going to take to fix this. So I'll just start here to get you oriented where we're talking. Right there is a bolt that broke off, and that's what everything pivots on. It's not real tight. The other one has a lot of play in it anyway, but this one snapped completely off, and you can't get the bolt out because the head is underneath that metal piece there. So I think you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. The metal piece is under there, so you can't get that bolt out. So let's start taking some stuff apart, see what it's going to take to get a new bolt in there. So just for photographic quickness, I have already loosened all these bolts. This is the way I'm going to do mine. I'm going to take those off. This is just a trim panel. Then here you got one of those Christmas tree clips. You got to pull up on it. If you got a tool that goes in there and opens those, that's nice. If you break these, they're cheap to get. And mine kind of tightened back up on me. And then inside, there's one screw. Let me get you pointed in the right direction. Here's the speaker. You're going to go down there sideways. That's going to allow me to, and a couple of clips, I guess, that go this way. It's going to allow me to get that piece out of the way. Now let me get you a different angle here. Now I've got you zoomed in from the other side of the car, facing to where I started. This is that bracket, and there's just two bolts holding it, and then we should be able to get a new one. The head side the head side's got to go from the bottom up. So we'll just take those two screws there and there that hold it, and it'll pop right off. Got my 10mm tool. Don't even have to take them all the way out. And there's our prize, a broken off bolt. Now just looking at the bolt, there's the piece I extracted out of the top. But just looking at that, that's a regular bolt painted black with a nut on it. On the other side, which I believe, even though that one's painted black, I don't believe that's original. This one here is actually like a rivet top head, like a round top head. That looks more original to me, so I'll bet you somebody's been in there before, and it's not the first time that thing's snapped off. So I'll show you what I'm up to here. I'm selecting some hardware. This is quarter 20, looks like. Obviously, originally would have been metric, but it's quarter 20. So I'm going to go up one size, one diameter, 5/16/18 thread. Just to give it a little more beef, so it doesn't have to be replaced again. But that doesn't allow, it does not make it through that hole, but it makes it through the hole on the little slider piece. So I'm just going to drill this out a little bit. Very difficult to get the right angle on this job because this thing's in the way every time I try to film from different angles. It's hard to get you where you can see what I'm doing. So I just tightened up that bolt a little bit, just enough to hold it. Boy, this chuck is stripped out, huh? Wow. That was as painful to watch as it was to be the guy with the drill. I'm sorry. Alright. I'm going to loosen the screws enough to let me put this bolt in. Okay, I'll take it all the way out. Put my new bolt in from the bottom up. Now I can lay it back over. And I'll just tighten those bolts that hold the bracket. So I was going to do everything just in the exact order of disassembly, but being that the breaking off part was part of the disassembly, I'm not going to put this cover on yet because that bolt is kind of hidden. I think I'll have a better chance at doing all the hardware and then putting this on. I don't think there'll be any obstructions with me bolting that together now. It'll be much easier. I can access this from any angle on the bottom and the top. And again, on hardware selection, I think I forgot to mention, this is what they call a stop nut, regular nut inside, and it has like a nylon sleeve on the top, and that's to grab the threads. This allows you to, you don't even have to tighten the bolt. It can just be loose, and this will not back off. It's designed to not vibrate loose. So that'll be perfect for something like this, where you don't want it smushed together hard, and you don't want to leave the nut loose because it would just back off. This is the kind of nut you need to use. Or you can take a regular nut, put two nuts together, tighten them on each other, or you can put a regular nut and bugger up the threads on the back side if you never think you need to take it back off. I'm going to put a washer in there just to give it something to slide on a little better. I did find those down there, so I think it originally had some. Now I'm going to have to hold that bottom thing while I tighten this because it's not going to spin on like a regular nut. It takes more force than that. I'm going to get an extension. I can't quite get on that angle. Sometimes if you put an extension, you could just sneak it in there, and this is one of those times. And I'm leaving it floppy because that's the way it needs to be to clear all these obstructions. Like here, you got to lift that up and over a little bit to get it to, you know, really sit like you want it to. So it needs a little bit of play. And I just backed that off a little more. I'm gonna let that flail around a little bit because it does need to come up quite a bit from where it's sitting here when the top goes down to here. And if you don't have that play built in, you are going to stress out that bolt again and possibly break it. Looking good here. I'm just gonna start some reassembly now. Get this out of the way, and I can get my clip in there. Boy, that's thin metal, huh? Just holding the trim clip anyway, but I'll just reassemble it and give it a try. Now on this back speaker cover panel, just a little detail that I noticed, that this was on top of the plastic. I think it's just, you know, kind of a washer, kind of helps hold that plastic. Just, you know, I think that's the way it would have been originally. So just in case you're confused if that's supposed to go on top or bottom, it seems to go best on top of the plastic. Nice. And after all these years, I just figured out what this flap does. There's a piece of Velcro right there. I think that was to cover over the mechanicals here years ago when the Velcro still worked. But that explains a lot. I guess you have to take that off while you're turning that because it doesn't pivot. Anyway, side note. For anybody that's still watching at the end, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I hereby declare that convertible top boot Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.